up a seat to the bar and join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tansen, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk. Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 13.18, Polka Will Never Die, where we are covering the novel Deadbeat. My name is Tansen, and I am joined by Maggie.
Hello, hello.
And Jess.
Do you know where zombies live? On dead-end streets.
Ba-dum-bum! On de cul-de-sac.
Skull-de-sac? Thank you so much to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us keep doing what we're doing. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/freeflowrambling.
Chapter 22. Harry and Mouse make it back into the house while the zombie army attacks. The zombies continue to break down the apartment wards as Harry and Thomas make an escape plan. Just as they are about to enact their plan, the zombies pull Butters out through a window. So fortunately for Harry, Mouse intercepts a zombie attack at the very last second.
Right? So hello, Mouse. You just this fuzzy little fuzzball of a pop last book. You were totally adorable, gave a few little warning alerts. And now we're seeing. I mean, we know, okay, he took Mouse with him, but now I think this is Mouse's first big action scene.
Good job, Mouse.
Mouse isn't just growling at things in the dark. Mouse isn't just a
learn.
big, large dog that looks scary too. Mouse fucking takes out a zombie while Harry's stumbling around his stairwell trying not to lose his face because he dropped it. Yeah. Fuck yeah! Yeah, an ugly sound of impact.
Yeah.
I
mean, it does give Harry at least a second to try to throw a Forzari spell, but before he can, lay down another, he's unfortunately disarmed.
Right, try bringing back again. Yeah, the typical close quarter combat in a stairwell. Fucking lost my staff.
It's always the first to go for Harry, really.
Well, because, that's his biggest thing. His main thing that he's going to defend himself with, so the first thing, and then also because it's his first thing, I'm I needed to do so much. Of course, Butcher's gonna fucking just take that shit away and make everything that much harder.
He's got to have, how surfboarders have, the
right, the little
thing,
the little tether strap, the safety, yeah, right, he does just about.
Well, it makes you wonder whether or not Gravane meant for this to be where the attack happened, if he was staking out Harry's place, waiting for Harry to come back home, if he thought maybe Harry was already home and he was going to do this. Was he following Harry earlier in the night and was massive lake, probably not a good place for it. Oh, his house where we can just pile on him in the stairwell? Perfect.
Just, right.
Yeah, I was really going to attack, but the Queen of Winter showed up.
Never mind, ma'am. We'll hold back.
Okay.
I was going to say, in some ways, I mean, that is actually a very valid point right there. But when you were first, I was yeah, he's not going to bother to go all the way out there and then come all the way back with a horde of zombies. I'm that just seems like a lot of. But I'm yeah, not expecting that part.
Didn't know where he was going.
Yeah, a big empty lake, driving out of town. That might have been a great place to ambush him. But yeah, figure they just kind of showed up right about, and they could have been staking it out.
How does everyone know where Harry lives? Those yellow pages were
book.
Awful for the early 2000s.
I was going to say, right, he's in the book. This is awful. Yeah, I mean, again, probably not that hard to figure out until Harry starts doing something where he starts warding his neighborhood levels out so that eventually he kind of disappears and people get all confounded and don't realize where he's gone. I mean, literally just a chapter ago, he was so banged up and disoriented. Yeah, I don't have... Yeah.
I didn't look over my shoulder.
Right. He's
Whatever.
I could have had a fucking parade of elephants following me home Illuminati were, so really it's probably not all that hard to track. I mean, again, all these supernatural ones, right? I'm sure they've got all their little like toots and stuff.
Mirror on the wall.
Yeah.
Where's this tall one after all?
Right. Where's the tallest one of all?
He puts blankets over his mirror so people can't do that to him.
That's true. They can't look at him from his mirrors, but we don't know that her mirror was only getting its information from other mirrors.
If my mirror is staring at me, reporting back to another mirror that I'm ugly, I'm going to shatter it that.
The technology exists.
Don't worry, Queen, you're good over here. This house ain't a threat. Luckily, Thomas has heard the call.
Yoink!
Sitting around with a saber and a vampire and a shotgun tends to actually be a good method. Weirdly enough. Yeah, triple threat, Thomas.
Most
Not just pretty.
Most of us, like, our 3-in-1 multi-tool is like a screwdriver and a pocket knife. I have teeth and a blade and a gun all in one. So thankfully, he's there. Deal, let me just shoot over your head. Man, I wonder how long it takes to get into that. Like we've said multiple times, we'd probably all be like cannon fodder because we're like, I don't actually.
They're such a good team.
They are.
How much they listen to each other and don't shoot each other's brains out because he's like, drop, stop, roll, and you just do it immediately.
Yeah,
right.
Listen.
And I mean, like, okay, so both of them kind of are individually now more used to their, life and death situations. So maybe that's, in some emergency situation and they were just suddenly down. I don't know. Like, again, in the heat of the moment, I could very well be like, that is enough to get me to just. Or would I be like, wait, what do you do? That automatic, like, look and see. Oh, shit, now
Don't look now, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I give a lot of credit to Thomas, though, because although Harry's got this whole lone ranger, I'm on my own, I can't trust anyone, I'm sad loner.
I will endanger anybody close to me.
He's kind of got the human condition of, like, we all have to team up and work together, and we all only know so much, whereas I find the more vampires and stuff are used to operating alone. They're like, I'm strong enough to handle my own shit. I don't need to walk around with a posse. I don't need teammates. I'm good. I've got super speed or super strength.
Or they're also busy trying to stab each other in the back, too, that they're not going to depend on anybody. Because they're like, I don't need, I'm Ortega. I can wipe out an entire, thing on my own. Yeah.
Coming from Thomas's point of view a couple chapters ago, where he's upset that Butters is a liability to Harry.
Yeah.
And part of for Thomas, the only liability he's ever had thus far is Justine, and then potentially Inari, too, in certain cases. But she was mostly out of the supernatural, too. Outside of Justine, everyone he knew was basically stronger than him. He didn't have to take care of anyone. They could handle themselves.
Right. Inari was still under Daddy's protection. Daddy wasn't going to let anything happen to her before she could fend for herself, kind of a thing, right? So, yeah, Thomas didn't necessarily have that same responsibility.
Exactly. And the closest he came would be maybe Harry, but Harry can generally handle himself, too. It's nice to look out for him. I like you. I don't want you to die. You're my brother, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But to have gotten to the stage where they've got this sort of teamwork thing figured out, which for Thomas would be basically 100% brand new. I've never had to work with anyone before. I could kill everyone in the room without worrying about it or whatever like that. And now I've got to make sure that you stay alive and Butters stays alive.
Because you want Butters to stay alive and,
The dog has to stay alive. The cat has to stay alive. The house can't be burned down. This is bullshit.
Oh my God, so many rules.
If I had Daddy's money, we'd just buy another house.
Right. I'll buy you new neighbors, Harry. It's fine. These ones are old.
Fly to Jamaica when you have problems and come back in a couple of years when the book needs you again. It's easy.
Right.
I do kind of wonder where, during that attack, where Mr. would be. I wonder.
In the home, sitting, chilling. Maybe he was let out earlier. Mr. lives his own life.
Because he was around at one point because, after he gets bandaged up, he gets...
when he bullies Mouse.
When he came back before... Well, he rams into Harry's...
But what about the cat?
Right.
We know the cat is alive because we know the cat is threatened in later books. So for now, it's okay.
It's one of those either when Harry left again to go out to the lake, Mr.'s like, I'm going back out. Or yes, he's just crouched
Mr.'s doing the sensible thing of not getting involved right now.
He's just under the bed right now being like, y'all better sort this
He's
quick.
Watching Thomas and Mouse volunteer and he's like, I'm with Butters in the bedroom.
Right? He's like, I got Butters, it's okay. I'll just keep him safe over here. I'm not hiding.
You guys do whatever you want to do over there.
Yeah.
Someone let me into the sub-basement.
Mistress is literally like, excuse me, I'm trying to nap. Can y'all stop making so much noise?
The one thing, though, that is a little bit concerning is that much as we love Thomas, much as we're happy that he's involved himself in this, we get the signs that he is pulling on the demonic power, which we now know from the beginning of this book he cannot refill.
And he can lose control if he does too
silver
much.
eyes and seeing that pale blood and seeing him embracing the monster within is a little bit like, no, Thomas.
Well, I don't think the blood in and of itself, unless you just mean that he's more hurt now, he's going to
just
heal
more-
himself.
yeah.
And okay, yeah, like you say, not that he can't, but he's not getting his fill the way he wants to. These little,
We know he's struggling about that.
yeah, these little, yeah, exactly.
And it is a little bit more finite than he is used to.
Yes, that if he wants to top up the tank, it's going to be more than just a little quickie.
That it is
morning
dangerous
jog
for
or-
him to run on empty.
Dangerous for him to run on empty. Also, I mean, just useless to Harry, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Is that, yeah, he's got no special skills to contribute then.
Well, we've got this whole, technically speaking, Harry never asked Thomas to stop doing it, but it was somewhat of the deal. If you're going to come and live with me and be part of regular society and separate from your dad, even though that was a little bit forced or whatever, you have to stop doing this.
Well, yeah, I mean, Harry's like, I understand that, yeah, you need to feed to a point, but we're not going to do the whole enthralling and killing kind of a thing. Right? You can take, you can milk the cow. I don't want you slaughtering the cow kind of thing, because, right, that's the, right, you can...
This is sort of the same conundrum that we had in Buffy with Spike too, right? He's like, I'm starving every single day. You guys want me to stay starved. I've agreed to be starved every single day. Guess what? Not a fully fledged vampire then. What do you want from me?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the difference. Like how, because in that case, right, Blood and Angel, they just did the whole like blood bank thing. They couldn't, right? They're just like, okay, we'll just take,
Which, again, it sounds great in theory that you're not attacking random people. That blood is needed though. You were still taking away from...
There is that, but who knows? Maybe they have like their own, like maybe they don't directly, maybe they're just, hey, $5 for a pint of blood, and I don't. Oh, actually, Angel did pig's blood a lot. Actually, that was true. He didn't go. There's at one point, like in like the early episode when Darla shows up in season 1, and we discover he does have like IV blood packs like hanging in his fridge, I think. But the rest of it is all they're always talking about getting like pig's blood and stuff like that. So. But
Thomas, there is no synthetic.
That's what
Thomas, go seduce a pig.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Does
right?
masturbation help? Like,
yes, you can't the same way.
I don't know that cannibalism works if it's yourself that you're eating.
Well, right, exactly. I was gonna say it's like you're using your own energy.
Got 99 problems, but this arm isn't one.
But but that is exactly what my point was gonna be. It was like, you can get substitute blood, or like you say, get people to donate, and they can still. But how do you get just a little?
Poor Thomas, born too early for an AI girlfriend.
Do you just like hang out at like the really banging keggers or something? Just give me all your energy here from this like rave and like.
Can you like go get a job at like a strip club and just have all of these people like adoring fans on you? Go be a
that's true.
What are they called?
Objects of
Strippergram?
desires. Yeah, strippergram. Yeah.
Just go work a bunch of bachelorettes, Thomas.
Yeah, right. You'd have people grinding up on you all the time. You would have been hello. Okay, Butcher, come on.
Doing working at McDonald's.
Why are you? Yeah. Why are you putting them in paper hats? Come on.
He could be an exotic dancer
He
easily.
totally could be.
oh my god. He just needs to keep working the gay angle and like work at a drag club, and all of the bachelorettes would just like, whoa!
That could also work. It just occurred to me, though, the one and only reason, because I was going to say, he doesn't really have any pride or shame about it, right? Like, that's their whole gig. But I just realized, like, all his family, they probably attend those events constantly. Like, if he goes and gets a job at a stripper club, that's probably where his family hangs out. Like, you're going to run into your dad and sisters, like, every day.
So, again, one, I don't necessarily think so, because they, like, organized their, I mean, again,
They kidnap doctors from hospitals.
Well, exactly, right? I'm like, I wouldn't put it past them to own a few, because that was, but I mean, again, Lara has no need to hang out at a strip club, right? I mean, again, she's not going to shame anybody that does for herself, exactly. It's like she doesn't need to do that, right? So I'm like, on the one hand, I would be like, not necessarily where he would run into them. On the other hand, it could also be, again, going back to your whole no pride, shame, whatever. I mean, like, Papa Wraith, like, bangs all the little, I'm like, is there really that much familiar, like, embarrassment or modesty? But you know what I mean? Like, is Thomas really going to be, I'm like, yeah, he might not want to hook up with Laura, but is he really going to be that bothered, or she sees him dancing on stage? He's probably like, whatever.
Well, and see, I know last book he says he doesn't like being in front of the camera. That
Yes,
last
that-
book?
that was
the
last-
stripper porn book, yeah.
Yeah, this is book 7, that was book 6.
okay, whatever.
Wasn't the stripper part, it was the porn, yes.
Yes,
the-
okay. Point is,
have to start like putting it post.
I know, can we just like write him on
Like
the
have
wall,
a board here with the...
timeline right here?
Yeah.
But yes, that was last book where
And
he's
he
like,
says he doesn't
"Thomas,
like
when
being
are
on
you
camera."
gonna act?" And he's like,
But
yeah.
surely, if you're okay with everything else, who cares if it's a job or not, Thomas? Come on. And then you'd be making some money, which you desperately need right now, too. And you get both.
And again, again, there is a difference between being on film, which is going to go wherever, whenever, and just dancing at like your local club where, you know, they're not allowed to bring in recording devices and you can just...
I mean, just because he's taking advantage of his sex appeal doesn't mean it's unethical, because, well, sex sells.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Though,
Like every other...
The other people wouldn't know that he's getting paid twice, so who cares?
That's right.
For as far as they're concerned, it's a totally even, you get money and I get sex. They don't realize that Thomas also wants the sex.
What's the extra boost about sex for him? Yeah, not just... But you're right.
For him, the money's more of the tip.
Yeah, now I can buy beer for the house.
And replace the beer.
Can you imagine that would... Seriously, Butcher, come on. That would be the perfect gig. Can you imagine if you earned a wage just by having to, like, eat dinner every day? Okay, so you eat dinner and somebody pays you to do that.
It's like all those, like, fake things you see online where it's like, NASA will pay you to sleep and we can study you. It's like, yeah, please give me that job.
Yeah, right?
I'll sleep, no issue. Italy will pay you to buy a house in Italy. It's like, all right, do it. Right?
Exactly. Fuck, man, yeah.
Okay, so basically with Thomas's help, Harry makes it into the home and they're able to fortify their defenses. Kind of. They don't want to put up all the defenses, because if they do, they'll be trapped inside indefinitely.
Well, yeah, they don't even think they need to at first, because Butters is all like, holy shit, and Harry's like, we're fine. We're totally good yet. And so Butters like, okay, so they're all gone? And he's like, yeah, they will be, though. There's no reason for them to hang around now. They can't get in.
Famous last words.
Right?
Jinxed.
Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, suddenly they realize that Gravaine's just going to keep tossing bodies at it until it wears them down. And Harry's like, well, shit, I didn't plan for that. I figured most people that were going to get fried would choose not to and leave.
The dead really don't care.
The dead
Or if they do care, they aren't in control of caring.
Exactly, yeah. They don't get a say in the matter anyways. So, yeah. So now it's like, well, let's put up the extra defenses. And Harry's like, it's not really a good idea either. I get why you're suggesting it, but that's actually going to screw us more in this instance.
There are times when Harry does something really smart that I didn't consider myself, like he'll say in this moment, well, no, we can't do that because he sets the house on fire. There's other people who live in this home. And I'm like, fully forgot you're in the basement and there's like 2 other families above you. I completely, good on you for remembering that and taking it into account.
I never forget that you're in the basement because but yeah, I do sort of, just they're like ambiguously on the peripheral there until you sort of mention them again. That, that's why you're in the basement, is because there's other people occupying the top part.
I live in a completely empty house, but I only stay in the basement.
Yeah, exactly, right? But yeah.
But then you get hit with this suddenly, like, well, I didn't consider they'd bring a battering ram. And you're like, Harry, you're so dumb. What the hell, man?
Right. Or even this, where he's like, if I put those ones up, they can't come down. And part of me is like, again, that seems like a fault in your plans, Harry. Like, why? If I can lock my door, I want to be able to unlock my door and I get like they're on a time limit, so it's not like he's trapped forever if he ever uses them. But
he puts limitation, like
he puts a lot of his mojo into the fact that the sunrise will destroy it for me. I've never needed to learn how to undo anything because the sunrise will take care of it in 2 or 3 days. And it's like, okay, but here's an example of why you need to figure that shit out, Harry.
I was gonna say,
and you would think he would have learned with Susan already, like because they got trapped as well.
Yeah, right.
Once already, so you didn't decide. Oh, maybe this is
after one sex
maybe
potion.
I should have a fail safe.
It's like, but you know what? That time just went so well. I just don't want to mess with. It's like I can't revamp my wards. I'll always have Susan. But yeah, but that's what I mean, right? Is that, again, it makes it more complicated or difficult. So he's just like, I'll just do or like, right? Why? Why has he not built in a way to let him get them down if something like that happens? But Nope, he hasn't. So
yeah,
sure enough,
I take it to be one of those things where he's just, all his magic is too big and not delicate enough that if he undoes it, he explodes himself, basically. So he's like, I'm not even going to learn how to do it. Sunrise will figure it out for me. If things get really bad, I'll just whatever, sit at home for 2 or 3 days, I'll live.
Well, right.
And it's like, well, no, you're dumb.
I mean, I don't know. I could see it, yeah, like I say, either way, right?
Or alternatively, how come you haven't built your wards to protect the entire household, too?
And again, most of this, which I think he does make as a point here, is that them being like magical wards. They're meant to defend against magical
physical
stuff,
threats like fire or zombies.
Like burning down your house, right?
Well, in hindsight, it's 2020, right? Like,
yeah.
He's thinking about it now.
And I was going to say, like, he's awful lucky that most of the people, mortal or supernatural or whatever the fuck that come, is respectful also of his neighbors. Because, like, we haven't had a ton yet, but like you say, I mean, the toad demon and this and that, we have had Harry has been attacked a couple of times.
As evil as they are all, they've all been very narrow-sighted.
Yeah,
Harry
they're all
is my
we just
issue.
care about Harry, yeah. But like you say, right, it's almost surprising that...
Yeah, they're evil. Why not?
They right? Just like, well, you better come up here because I'm going to eat your landlady if you don't get out here right now. Or exactly like, well, we'll just burn your house down and not, But yeah, I was going to say he has kind of, been lucky that way that nobody has yet attempted to use his neighbors against him in that fashion. But yes, so point being is, So basically, the point of this is we need a reason why Harry can't defend himself with all his massive, wonderful defense things. So we're just going to write him into a corner where we're just going to take this away from you and take this away from you. Now, how are you going to fix it, Harry?
Raise those stakes.
Raise those stakes, which is actually the one thing they don't need right now.
So Harry instructs Thomas to get dressed and
Yeah, which by the way.
and to Butters, go downstairs, grab the skull, come back up.
Yeah. What the fuck? What the fuck do I need to do? Just do it, okay, Butters?
He also figures out the line's been cut, so there's no calling anybody. So
Right. So, yeah. So, while Butters scuttles off to get this fucking skull for some fucking reason that Harry fucking suddenly needs all of a sudden.
Fucking wizards.
Fucking wizards. Thomas is like, so Harry, told you so. Fuck off, Thomas.
Go fuck yourself.
And he's like, but, and Harry's like, I get it. I didn't not get it. I know what you're saying, but
We've had this conversation already, but again, what do you want from me, Thomas?
Yeah. Like, I do get it. I did know what you were sort of,
This is the exact... Well, again, broken record. I literally said all of this the last time we had this conversation. But again, if it was a pretty girl who was begging for protection, you'd have way less issue with it, okay? Because Harry's already done that every book thus far.
Right.
It's just the first time it happens to be a man, and Thomas is all like, fucking bullshit. Protect yourself. Be a man. And it's like, okay, not supernaturally enshrined.
Although, again, Thomas hasn't really shown up for any of this before now. We saw him at Bianca's party in book 3, where we didn't know why he was allying himself with Harry at the time. We just thought he wanted to get his ass out of there too. And Harry was protecting the pretty girl, but also like himself and Michael and stuff like that. And then the last book where Thomas was involved, it was literally to hire Harry to protect all the girls on set because they were you know what I mean? So we can't even, not even like Harry, like Thomas.
I guess I'm thinking of Monica and Lydia, but
from our point of view, but
the church mice.
Yeah, if you're like Thomas not being, then, but yeah, because I'm like, well, Thomas hasn't told him to go say fuck it and let the other guys die either. But
what do you mean you haven't read my books, Thomas? You're my brother.
You knew all this time. I figured you would be right up to date on this. Yeah, exactly.
You don't even know how I first described you then.
Oh, actually, maybe just don't worry about it. You don't have to read
Skip that chapter.
Skip that chapter, but well.
Let me just rip out a couple of pages.
Yeah, you can't read anything about you before I knew you knew me.
Also,
so,
every time I talk about one of your sisters, I should go rip those pages out too.
Yeah,
and Justine while we're on it.
You know what, Thomas? Just stay illiterate. It's fine.
Never mind. Don't read my books.
No, that's okay. No, take it all back.
To be fair, though, we do know, like, the way the Dresden files work. I mean, we haven't really seen it, but I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say. All the wizards keep diaries, essentially.
Yes.
And these diaries get passed on from mentor to apprentice, okay? Harry didn't get Justin's because he burned his house down. But presumably he would have got those had that relationship stayed here. I guess, maybe.
I don't know. Would he have wanted Justin's now in the long run? I mean, on the one hand...
Knowledge is knowledge.
Knowledge is knowledge, but at the same time, would he have wanted as much of that dark, creepy, or would he also...
The point I'm trying to make is, outside of Harry, a lot of wizards have a library of their mentors and their mentors' mentors and their mentors' mentors' mentors. Diaries passed on through the ages. And the Dresden Files is what we're reading. We're reading those diary entries, okay? So I think it's fair to say that if Thomas was, like, Snoopy, and I feel like he would be, I'd have been reading those diaries, like, day one. I'd be like, what is in here? What is in here? Oh, your diary? Yeah, what the fuck is in here?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Probably. So, Thomas...
Day one, I planned out a super secret heist to get Justin murdered. Wait, no, start a new diary. No one can know about that.
No, wait. Super diary.
Redacted.
So,
Redacted.
I was coerced into it.
So, Justin adopted someone else?
She's so pretty and so cool.
I was going to say it'd be funnier the other way, because they were like 12 or something. Be like, he adopted like this stupid, stinky girl.
I told him I wanted a brother.
Yeah, right. I got this chick to deal with. Diary like 27. So, dear diary, it finally happened. But Thomas would have to know about them. Right? Does Thomas know enough about wizards and wizarding culture to know that Harry would probably...
Well, I think if you've got no job and you're stuck inside a tiny, dingy basement with no Netflix or TV, you're going to start reading everything on the shelves, and eventually you're going to run out of the Star Wars and the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings.
He probably keeps it in his lab, and there is a certain somebody that can rat on him.
There's that, too.
All right,
I was going to say, they're not
okay.
necessarily out and about on his, right?
Okay, I'll accept that one. Bob, I was like, who's going to stop him from walking down the stairs? But no one will stop him. Someone will just tell on him.
Someone will just rat on him, yeah. Yeah.
And I could see also Mr. like clawing at his face.
Like, I've got much better shit to read here.
You know what porno mags are, Thomas? Because why do you even want to read that bullshit over there when you could have these?
He's like, nothing exciting happens in Harry's at all.
You know what Harry's, unreliable narrator doesn't know what he doesn't know what he's not there for? I bet you Thomas and Bob are disgusting. I bet you Thomas goes down those stairs every day and the worst conversations in the world.
Yeah. I would not.
Bob, you can ride along with me tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with a ride along on my dates.
Oh my God.
Harry will never know about it, but
that's right.
I feel like it happened.
Unless he learned that after his first week, Bob or Thomas or somebody let something drop, and after that, he's like, okay, Bob, you don't have to tell me every conversation you ever have with Thomas. Bob is now like, fuck, Thomas, we can't.
Fun's over.
Fun's over. So anyways, so they are trying to figure out how they're going to do this. So they can't stay in the house because he's battering at the wards and they're going to come down and the zombies will just come in. We can't put up our super duper wards because then we're just locked in and they'll just burn us down from the inside. So we got to leave and hope we can just run past this. Hopefully he's killed enough of his army of zombies that we can just run away and he'll let us, So Thomas is all like, okay, well, I'll take the shotgun and cover one side. You whip up a firewall and cover the other side. And Harry's like...
Instant trauma response.
What else you got? And I totally get it, and it's fair, but at the same time, Harry doesn't want to tell, right? Harry makes up some excuse. Oh, dude, I'm just, right? He doesn't want to tell anybody that he's nervous, afraid. Right? Because this has always been his big thing. So even though he's got a totally legit reason to be like, yeah, last time I used fire magic, I burned my hand to a crisp. I'm kind of not, right? Doesn't want to bring it up, doesn't want to admit to it, doesn't want to whatever it is.
Acknowledging it could make it real.
Acknowledging whatever is sort of the...
give it power.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's his biggest fear, though. He's like, if I
Or
even try and then fail my
fucked.
Confidence will get screwy even more.
Yeah, I'll
and
take
then
a hit to
really...
my confidence. And yeah, exactly right. You cannot do anything with magic that you cannot believe you do. So yeah, you're right. He does have that sort of fear of failure, even just...
And at that same time, that whole use it or lose it is also a problem. He might not lose all of his magic, but he could lose the ability to fire at all, even without trying, because you're not trying.
Yeah, exactly right. So Harry's in a little bit of a pickle here and just goes, oh, man, it's been a really long day. I like shurikens in my leg and shit. I just don't think there's anything in the battery. Yeah, that's why.
Which seems totally fair, honestly. He's been awake a long time now.
Just probably
we already know
why
he left
it
the house.
Works well.
He woke up at something 8 a.m. to go running with Thomas, and since then it's been a horrible, horrible day.
Yeah, at least, right? Because, it was dawn-ish when they were going. So then they're just like, okay, well, we'll just have to make a break for it.
Yeah, Thomas pretty much takes it upon himself. He's like, well, fuck it, then I will be the one to defend
cover both
us.
sides.
Despite the fact that Thomas is exhausted himself, or at least can be made exhausted much easier now.
Yes, is not at full strength. But yeah, he hasn't had the day that Harry has had, but like you say, he is malnourished right now, that he has not been eating well for the better part of a year. They all psych themselves up. Butters comes back up with the skull, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna walk out of here. And Butters is like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. That seems like scary as shit, and also...
Oh yeah, he tries to make all sorts of excuses.
Really bad idea. And I gotta give it to him here, though. But he's like, no, we're just gonna run to the Beetle and get the fuck out. And Butters is like, well, they trashed my car. Maybe they trashed your car. And Harry's like, okay, you know what, Butters?
I mean, there is a time and place to sort of poke holes, but in the middle of an emergency circumstance, it's kind of just like, oh...
And this is right, Harry's like, not the time.
do something.
Which, yeah, right, and we know, obviously, but but I'm like, I totally got to get, I would be right there. In fact, I have like a vague feeling the first time around with this book that I was feeling, so I'm like, yeah, I'm right there with you, Butters. Like, yeah, they totally made sure that you couldn't just diddle-diddle with your, right? So I'm like, why would they not have trashed your car, Harry, when you...
I think we also all know those like moments when you are legitimately scared and you're like, I can't start my car that fast. I can't open my door that fast. I
Oh,
can't.
God, yeah, and a real emergency,
I would fumble those keys. I wouldn't start. I wouldn't close the door behind me fast enough.
Right,
Like,
I was trying to get to work on time the other day and like not be late, and I poured like a can of root beer all down. Like, I have like one piece of white clothing because I don't buy white clothing because I don't care enough about, you know, keeping things pristine and delicate, and so I just avoid things that will show stuff on them. Right? No, I have like one white blouse that's summery and cool because it's been like a million fucking degrees, and yeah, I had like a vape and my keys and a drink, and yeah. Literally trying, and that was just to try and get like to work. Like, just no, I gotta leave like in this minute so I can get to work on time and not be late to a place that it's really not a big deal. I don't get totally fucked over for being like a minute late, and that was still too much pressure for me. You know, it's like I still just fumbled it all on the front step. I'm like, okay, well, I guess now I have to go back and change, so I'm gonna be 10 minutes late. So yeah, those high stakes pressure. No, don't bring logic into this right now, Butters. Don't bring things that could normally be plausible what ifs, because yeah, we don't have the time and we don't have the means to deal with that.
I would not trust this plan. It's a horrible
just
plan.
gonna believe that it's gonna work.
But he is right, though. Like, if they stay, they're just as... they're fucked. Like, they don't really have an option. They have to take action. And so Butters begins to just freak right out. He vomits and starts to word vomit next.
No offense, but Thomas and Harry do not seem confident enough for me in this situation. Both of them are like, you gotta do it, buddy. I'm out. And the other one's like, I'm also out, dude. You gotta do it. And it's like,
Butters? And well, because even that a little bit, right? Harry's like, okay, I got one bum hand and a thing and I gotta get. He's like, we're gonna go, we're gonna open up, we're gonna fire some shots to clear the way. Then I'm gonna hand you the gun. And he's like, I don't do guns. And he's like, okay, motherfucker.
I have to limp up the stairs because my leg is down.
Now is not the time to be choosy about. And secondly, I'm not even asking you to fire it, motherfucker. I need you to fucking hold it, okay? Yeah. So take your gun issues and just, But yeah, right? And like Butters is like, I don't even want. He's like, I just need you to hold it. Just fucking hold it for me and run up the stairs right behind me with it, okay? We're gonna kindergarten this shit. Everybody get in your little line and hold on to the guy in front of you. Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna die.
And we're gonna die. We're gonna die. That's just it. And he's like, so now, and this again, one of the best moments in Dresden series. One of the best.
Most iconic,
all-time quoted. Yep. Yeah. We're not gonna die. And do you know why? Because Thomas is too pretty to die. Completely unequivocal. You cannot argue with that. I'm too stubborn to die. Also, true. Yeah, motherfucker. And you also know why? Because Polka will never die. See it with me, Butters.
Say it.
But yeah, it is.
It's amazing.
Oh my God, it was so much fun, right? And you're just waiting. You know he's going to come up with. I gotta say, I did not anticipate the exact one he was going to pull out being Polka will never. Right? You're like,
Harry's good.
You're
at
too
speeches.
smart to die. You're too
good at
Oh jeez, he
rally and cry. He's good at it.
Right. He's had a couple of these little go get him speeches and stuff.
I don't believe in fairies. Polka will never die.
Right?
Watch Braveheart too much. He's like, I need something like that.
I need something like that. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
He could have gone the catchphrase route like a superhero, but he was like, no, you know what? Braveheart speech every time. Or Independence Day speech every time.
Yeah. Leave him here. Oh, shut up. But it's working, so let's go.
I shot my half-brother a look. I was like, yeah.
All right, get ready. And lo and behold, apparently in an apartment surrounded by zombies standing right next to the window discussing your getaway plan apparently is not a good idea. Smash. They literally just go for the smash and grab.
Honestly terrifying to have these arms rip through, shatter your window, grab Butters, rip him out. You hear a scream, the scream cuts off. We love Butters. We love Butters so much. We just had an amazing speech pump-up moment where everything is deserved and the good guys are gonna win. They kill Butters. They just...
Well, and even more so about just the terrifying of just the all of a sudden. I mean, this is like your jump scare moment kind of a thing, even though you're reading it. but looked up in time to see dead gray fingers clutching the little guy by the hair. They haul him off his feet, and then 2 more zombie hands come and grab him. So that first, I'm like, dude, how much fucking... I mean, and again, from a deadlift like that, like, you think that would... I'm like, I know you see, like, the acrobats and stuff like that, and the girls with, like, the big long ponytails that, like, hang and spin. I'm like, okay, that's different. I've had really long hair, and I'm like, I know if you've got all of it at one point and you're spreading but I feel like, Butters with his little short spiky thing, you're not getting like a good, I feel like you'd just be like fucking ripping that guy's hair out, like 95 pounds soaking wet or not, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm sure
like,
there's a certain amount of timing with it that the other people or the other zombies are grabbing shortly after they lift him.
But instantly grabbed his jaw and started strangling him.
But that's what I mean. I'm like, those first few seconds though, man, I'm like, I could see if they like grabbed his hair to grab him and then like basically lifted him, but I'm like, no, it's like they start hauling him off his feet purely by his hair, and then another grab him and hold him the rest of the way. I'm like, ow, fucking ow, like terrifying and ow, like you're like practically scalped before you. Yeah, so
maybe he is fortunate enough to have grabbed the hands that held his hair.
Maybe he's got
clung on for dear life. Also, quick question: so if Bob was in the backpack that Butters had, and he got pulled out of the window, did the backpack go with him?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, thankfully, Gravane is just so... I guess we have to assume that, Gravane was just so busy bullying Butters that he didn't really care about what the guy had in his backpack, He's like... He's a medical examiner. It's probably comic books or something. I don't care what's in there.
Yeah. He's gone now. Yeah. Bye.
That was it. So much for that resource.
Some zombie picked him up, put him...
Right.
I'm missing one of these.
I'm a double-headed zombie. Oh, yeah. Or just replace. Actually, that would be fantastic, because you can imagine, like, some zombie body running around
my friend
with, like,
York.
Bob's intellect. Yeah, right. Either way, he is up and gone before Harry has a time to react, or
shit.
Thomas, who's a few feet away, can react, and then there's just Scream.
This concludes our episode 13.18, Polka Will Never Die. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.